Jarad Anthony Higgins, known professionally as Juice Wrld, was an American rapper, singer, and songwriter. He was a leading figure in the emo rap and SoundCloud rap genres, which garnered mainstream attention during the mid-late 2010s. His stage name was derived from the film Juice, and he stated it represents taking over the world. Higgins began his career as an independent artist in 2015 and signed a recording contract with Grade A Productions and Interscope Records in 2017. He gained recognition with his now diamond-certified 2018 single Lucid Dreams, which peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100. It was included on his triple platinum debut studio album Goodbye and Good Riddance, alongside the singles All Girls Are the Same, Lean With Me, Wasted, and Armed and Dangerous, all of which charted on the Hot 100. He then collaborated with Future on the mixtape World on Drugs, and released his second album, Death Race for Love, in 2019. It contained the hit single Robbery and became Higgins' first #1 debut on the US Billboard 200. Higgins died following a drug overdose on December 8, 2019. His first posthumous album, Legends Never Die, matched chart records for most successful posthumous debut and for most US top 10 entries from one album, while the single Come and Go became Higgins' second song to reach #2 on the Hot 100. His second posthumous album, Fighting Demons, was released in 2021 alongside the documentary film Juice Wrld, Into the Abyss, and contained the US Top 20 single Already Dead. Early life. Jarad Anthony Higgins was born on December 2, 1998, in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up in the south suburbs, spending his childhood in Calumet Park and later moving to Homewood, where he attended Homewood Flossmoor High School and graduated in 2017. His parents divorced when he was 3 years old, and his father left, leaving his mother to raise him and an older brother as a single parent. Higgins' father died in June 2019. Higgins' mother was very religious and conservative, and did not let him listen to hip-hop. He was allowed to listen to rock and pop music, however, being introduced to artists including Billy Idol, Blink-182, Black Sabbath, Fall Out Boy, Megadeth, and Panic! At the Disco through video games such as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Guitar Hero. Higgins was a heavy drug user during his childhood and teens. He began drinking lean in 6th grade and using Percocet and Xanax in 2013. Higgins additionally smoked cigarettes before quitting in his last year of high school because of health issues. He learned to play the piano at 4 years old, having been inspired by his mother, Carmela Wallace, who later began paying for lessons. He then took up the guitar and drums while also playing the trumpet for band class. In his sophomore year of high school, he began posting songs to SoundCloud, which he recorded on his smartphone. Around this time, Higgins began to take rapping more seriously. Career 2015-2017, beginnings, record deal, and early projects. Higgins developed as an artist in his first year of high school. His first track, Forever, was released on SoundCloud in 2015 under the name Juice Wrld. Higgins recorded most of his first tracks on a cell phone, uploading them to SoundCloud in his sophomore year. He changed his name from Juice Wrld, a name inspired by his affection for rapper Tupac Shakur's role in the film Juice, to Juice Wrld because he and his associates believed the change would benefit his career. In an interview with the Atlanta radio station WHTA, Higgins revealed that the latter part of his stage name initially had no meaning, but that he came to think it represents taking over the world. Too Much Cash, Higgins' first track to be produced by frequent collaborator Nick Myra, was released in 2017. While releasing projects and songs on SoundCloud, Higgins worked in a factory but was dissatisfied with the job. He was fired within 2 weeks. After joining the internet collective Internet Money, Higgins released his debut full-length EP, 999, on June 15, 2017, with the song Lucid Dreams breaking out and growing his following. Higgins also briefly performed under the name Juice in early 2017. In mid-2017, he received attention from artists such as Waka Flocka Flame and Southside, as well as fellow Chicago artists G Herbo and Lil Bibby. He subsequently signed with Lil Bibby's CO-owned record label, Grade A Productions. 2017-2018, I Goodbye and Good Riddance / I and World Domination Tour. None. 2018-2019, I World on Drugs / I and I Death Race for Love / I. None. 2020-present, posthumous releases. Higgins' first posthumous appearance was on Eminem's 11th studio album Music to Be Murdered By on the track Godzilla, released on January 17, 2020. Godzilla peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100 and number 1 on the UK singles chart. On January 22, an announcement was posted on Higgins' Instagram account by members of his family and the team at Grade A Productions that thanked fans for their adoration for Higgins and confirmed their intention to release music that he was working on at the time of his death. Higgins was included on PTSD, the title track of G Herbo's fourth studio album PTSD, released on February 28. The track also features Lil Uzi Vert and Chance the Rapper. PTSD marked the first time that Higgins and Lil Uzi Vert had collaborated on a song since Wasted. On March 13, a remix of the single Suicidal, from YNW Melly's debut studio album Melly vs. Melvin, featuring vocals from Higgins, was released. The remix includes a different verse and outro Higgins had recorded. The song reappeared on the Hot 100 and peaked at number 20 following the release of the remix. The single No Me Aim, a multilingual collaboration among Higgins, Jamaican record producer Ravzizian and Puerto Rican rapper Anuel AA, was released on April 17. A computer-generated image depicting Higgins as an angel appears in the background of the song's music video. Higgins' first posthumous single, Righteous, was released on April 24 and an accompanying music video featuring footage of Higgins was uploaded to his YouTube channel. Higgins had recorded the song at his home studio in Los Angeles. On May 4, Higgins' girlfriend, Ally Lottie, announced that his upcoming third album and first posthumous album would be titled The Outsiders. On May 29, the song Tell Me You Love Me featuring Trippie Redd was released alongside a music video directed by Cole Bennett. Go, Higgins' collaboration with Australian rapper The Kid Laroi, was released on June 12. On July 6, it was announced that the title of Higgins' first posthumous album had been changed to Legends Never Die. Between the album's announcement and its release, two single collaborations were released, Life's a Mess featuring Halsey and Come and Go featuring Marshmello. The album was released on July 10, with 21 songs and 4 singles that Higgins' estate claims best represents the music Juice was in the process of creating. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. 5 of its songs reached the top 10 of the Hot 100 on the week ending July 25, Come and Go, Wishing Well, Conversations, Life's a Mess, and Hate the Other Side, which reached number 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10, respectively. Higgins is the third artist to accomplish this feat, the other artists being the Beatles and Drake. Life's a Mess jumped from number 74 to number 9 that week. Wishing Well, which had been critically lauded following the album's release, was sent to Rhythmic Contemporary Radio as the album's fifth single on July 28. On August 6, Smile with The Weeknd was released as a single. Smile had previously been leaked on YouTube and SoundCloud under the title Sad over a year before, though with an open verse in place of The Weeknd's. On October 23, Lil Bibby confirmed that a second posthumous album was in the works. On December 2, which would have been Higgins' 22nd birthday, Benny Blanco released a collaborative single titled Real Shit. 6 days later, on December 8, the anniversary of his death, Reminds Me of You featuring the Kid Laroi was released. In 2020, Higgins was streamed on Spotify over 5.9 billion times, making him the fourth most streamed artist in the world. On January 15, 2021, Higgins' estate released Bad Boy featuring Young Thug, which was accompanied by a Cole Bennett-directed music video shot entirely before Higgins' death. This marks the final collaboration between the artist and director before the former's death. On March 5, Life's a Mess 2, an alternative version of the track Life's a Mess from Legends Never Die, featuring Clever and Post Malone was released. On May 28, Higgins' debut full-length album Goodbye and Good Riddance was re-released to commemorate its third anniversary. The re-release includes 2 new songs, one titled 734 and the other being a remix of Lucid Dreams featuring Lil Uzi Vert. The 2018 single Armed and Dangerous, which was included on the December 2018 Spotify and title reissue of the album, is excluded from the revised track list. Following the re-release of Goodbye and Good Riddance, another posthumous project titled The Party Never Ends was teased by Higgins' management. On June 11, 2 tracks featuring Higgins were released, Antisocial from Migos' album Culture 3, and Can't Leave You Alone from Maroon 5's Jordy. On August 20, Matt Hardy 999, a song featuring Higgins from Trippie Redd's album Trip at Night, was released. Higgins was also featured on Young Thug's album Punk, which released on October 15. On November 11, Higgins' estate announced that his second posthumous album, Fighting Demons, a tie-in for the documentary film Juice Wrld, Into the Abyss, would be released on December 10. The album was accompanied by 3 singles, Already Dead, Wandered to LA featuring Justin Bieber, and Girl of My Dreams featuring Suga of BTS. The first track was released on November 12, the second on December 3, and the third on December 10. The latter track, Girl of My Dreams, released as a standalone digital release, served as the first promotional single from Fighting Demons and earned Higgins his first #1 on the Billboard Digital Song Sales chart. Juice Wrld, Into the Abyss was released on December 16. The film spotlights Higgins' struggles with mental health and substance abuse through the use of archival footage, in addition to interviews with Higgins' friends, family, and associates. In early 2022, an extended version of Go Hard, titled Go Hard 2.0, was added to the track list of Fighting Demons, in addition to 2 previously unreleased songs, Cigarettes and Sometimes. Cigarettes debuted at number 43 on the Billboard Hot 100, while Sometimes debuted at number 57. On August 26, Higgins was featured on the track Juice Wrld Did from DJ Khaled's album God Did. In an interview with Jay-Z, Khaled revealed that he chose to add the song to his album as a tribute to Higgins after Lil Bibby reached out to him and advocated for its inclusion. On October 14, Bye Bye, a collaborative single with Marshmello, was released alongside a music video. On October 28, Higgins' estate released the song In My Head. Prior to its release, a 30-second snippet of the track was uploaded to his official Spotify page under the title Rush Hour. The song was accompanied by a Steve Cannon and Chris Long-directed music video that depicts Higgins recording music and touring at various points throughout his career through the use of archival footage. Artistry and legacy. Musical style. Higgins said his musical influences were genre-wide from emo, hip-hop music, elements of rock, punk, and R&B, and that his biggest influences were rappers Travis Scott, Chief Keef, Kanye West, and British rock singer Billy Idol. Billboard writer Michael Saponara claimed, if West and his sparse 808s were a tree, it would have grown another branch with the blossoming art displayed by fellow Chicago native Juice Wrld in 2018. Higgins was among the ranks of openly vulnerable artists born from the emo rap scene inspired by West's influential fourth album, 808's and Heartbreak. During an interview with All Def Music, Higgins said, "I was singing Street Lights like I had shit to be sad about. Kanye is a time traveler. That nigga went to damn near 2015 and came back with some sauce." His other influences included Wu-Tang Clan, Quiet Drive, Fall Out Boy, Black Sabbath, The Starting Line, The Cranberries, The City Drive, 2PAC, Eminem, XXXTentacion, Kid Cudi, and Escape the Fate. Higgins had also stated that he listened to bands such as Panic at the Disco and Killswitch Engage. Higgins' music has been branded as emo and rock-leaning, genre-bending with music focusing on every broken heart, every wounded feeling. More specifically, he has been labeled as a hip-hop, emo rap, trap, and SoundCloud rap artist. With a penchant for short, hook-heavy songs, Higgins was a leading figure in hip-hop during the late 2010s. In 2018, the streaming platform Spotify named emo rap its fastest-growing genre. Higgins achieved significant mainstream success as a figurehead of the subgenre. This was boosted by his collaboration with Panic at the Disco frontman Brendan Urie. Higgins himself considered the emo label to be both negative and positive, as he felt music sometimes has to be a bit dark to reflect his belief that the world is not really a light or a happy place. Higgins said that Lucid Dreams was the only track from Goodbye and Good Riddance that he wrote, while the rest was done impromptu. Rather than write down his rhymes, Higgins crafted whole songs in a few minutes by way of off-the-cuff rhyming. Most of the time, his songwriter process involved freestyling lyrics instead of writing them down. When he did write a song, it usually began with hearing a beat and instantaneously conceiving an idea, although Higgins sometimes found himself alone with an idea for a song and afraid that he would be unable to remember it hours later after arriving at the studio. For this reason, he sometimes took a voice memo or simply wrote the whole song. Higgins saw the value in his position as one of very few contemporary SoundCloud artists who could compose soul-bearing ballads and odes but remain comfortable freestyle rapping over classic hip-hop beats. Rather than eschewing it, his freestyles emphasize wordplay and feel indebted to the art form's tradition. When asked for his opinion on why freestyles are no longer considered the rite of passage in hip-hop culture as they once were, he replied, "Stuff is just changing, that's all. We're moving into a new era of music. I feel like it's not necessarily a good thing to forget where shit started, but shit is changing." Though his songs do not always feature very technical lyricism, intricate flows or tongue-twisting wordplay, Higgins delivered inventive flows and memorable bars during his freestyles. Lyrical themes. His most successful singles express melodic, emo-inspired compositions that exhibit his songwriter skill. His songs harbor melodic flows to complement their melancholic subjects. Higgins claimed he talked about things others are thinking but are afraid to speak about, such as being vulnerable and hurt. Having built a following through emo rap, Higgins offered lyrics that touch on heartbreak and fragmented feelings. Though not entirely groundbreaking, his musical approach provided a sense of familiarity that heartbroken adolescents of the current generation could gravitate towards. Higgins maintained that he only wrote from personal experience, and found strength in his pain and vulnerability. While the lyrical content of his songs often centered on heartache and bitterness, there are occasionally more boastful lines and creative references. Personal life. Higgins had a history of drug abuse that began at an early age, and he spoke openly about his experiences. His mother claimed that he was also dealing with anxiety and depression on top of his battle with drug addiction. Higgins had agreed to attend drug rehabilitation weeks prior to his death. He was living in Los Angeles with his girlfriend, Ally Lottie, at the time of his death. In November 2018, the pair revealed via Instagram that they were dating. Death. On December 8, 2019, Higgins was aboard a private Gulfstream jet flying from Van Nuys Airport in Los Angeles to Midway International Airport in Chicago. Law enforcement officers were waiting for the jet to arrive, having been notified by federal agents, while the flight was en route, that they suspected there were guns and drugs on the plane. Law enforcement officials later revealed that they found 70 pounds of marijuana on the aircraft and said several members of Higgins' management team aboard the flight told them that Higgins had taken several unknown pills, including allegedly swallowing multiple Percocet pills to hide them while police were on board the plane searching the luggage. Higgins then began convulsing and seizing, after which 2 doses of the emergency medication Narcan were administered as an opioid overdose was suspected. Higgins was transported to the nearby Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, where he was pronounced dead. On January 22, 2020, the Cook County Medical Examiner stated that Higgins died as a result of toxic levels of oxycodone and codeine present in his system. Higgins' funeral was held on December 13, 2019, at the Holy Temple Cathedral Church of God in Christ in Harvey, Illinois. Friends and family were in attendance, including collaborators Ski Mask the Slump God and Young Thug. Reactions. Fellow rapper Boozy Badazz suggested that the pilot of the plane was ultimately responsible for Higgins' death, referring to him as a snitch. Higgins had been under suspicion by federal authorities following an incident that occurred in November 2019 before he departed for Australia, which prompted a search of his plane. Badazz gave an interview threatening violence upon the pilot, before later calming down and reflecting on the dangers of young artists suddenly being overwhelmed with money. Rapper Ski Mask the Slump God, Higgins' close friend whom he collaborated with on the song Nuketown, said on Twitter, "They keep taking my brothers from me," referring also to best friend and longtime collaborator XXXTentacion, who was shot and killed in June 2018. Lil Yachty, who remixed Higgins' song All Girls Are the Same, mourned his death along with Lil Uzi Vert, Drake, The Weeknd, and others. Higgins' mother expressed hope that her son's legacy would help others in their battles with addiction, saying, "Addiction knows no boundaries, and its impact goes beyond the person fighting it. We know that Jarad's legacy of love, joy, and emotional honesty will live on." She later established the Live Free 999 Fund in honor of Higgins and the battle he fought against addiction, anxiety, and depression. The fund's primary goal is to support programs that target young and underserved populations. With a focus on addiction, anxiety, and depression, the organization hopes to normalize the conversation about the mental health challenges that Higgins faced, and provide an avenue for people to process those challenges in a healthy way. Higgins' production team and record label have committed to supporting the organization. In his song, Legends, which was dedicated to XXXTentacion, who was murdered in mid-2018 at age 20, and Lil Peep, who overdosed in late 2017 at age 21, Higgins raps, "What's the 27 club? / we ain't making it past 21. Fans and media outlets commented that he had predicted his own death, as he had died only days after his 21st birthday. Discography. Studio albums: Goodbye and Good Riddance, Death Race for Love, Legends Never Die, Fighting Demons. Filmography. Concert tours: The Nicki World Tour with Nicki Minaj, The Death Race for Love Tour with Ski Mask the Slump God and contribution from Lyrical Lemonade. Awards and nominations: American Music Awards, BET Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards, iBillboard/iMusic Awards, None, iHeartRadio Music Awards.